in a galaxy far, far away. Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga. Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Chapter 2, Invasion of Naboo for story mode players. Amateurs, beginners, whatever you are, the Trade Federation has launched a full-scale attack on the peaceful world of Naboo. Hiding aboard the landing craft, Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi have secretly hitched a ride with the invasion force. Now they must make contact with local forces before it is too late. Had to get my mic on. So, at the start here, we're going to go straight forward. A tree's going to get knocked down, blocking our path. There will be battle droids along the way. I did have to put this largely on mute because it is noisy beyond all reason. Music I get copyrighted for. So, when we get to the tree that got knocked over by the deforesting battle droids, we're going to raise the tree up, repair the forest. We're going to take out these deforesters, the deforesting battle droids. We're going to overheat the engine on this battle droid carrier. It's already smoking. Just overheat it more using the force, and it will blow up. There might be a power-up ball that comes out, but sometimes it goes underneath the floorboard. Here we meet Jar Jar Binks. Real quick, there is a fan hate for Jar Jar Binks. There's different versions of this fan hate. The prejudicial hate is because of Jar Jar's clumsiness. That's something I can learn tolerance over. The other version is actually what he does in Attack of the Clones. If you follow the story, and you read the book as well, if there are things in the movie that was missed or misunderstood. Of course, Padme had to go on the run for her safety with Anakin as her protector, while Obi-Wan goes track down the bounty droid, or the bounty hunter that was attempting to assassinate her. She had to leave Jar Jar in her place. If you read Star Wars Episode 1, Journal, Queen Amidala, she explains in her POV, point of view, perspective of her, from her eyes, her feet, her skin, of the experience of Episode 1, and actually a little backstory. She gives a little backstory. She was elected as queen at 14 years of age. Naboo is a democracy monarchy. They elect their queens, and the queens serve 4 years per term, allow 2 terms. However, because of how she was handling things, they did offer her a 3rd term, which is not normal. She turned it down, decided to go become a senator instead. So between the Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, we have 10 years difference. She was already serving as senator for 2 years. After Jar Jar does help her reunite the Naboo humans with the Naboo primitive natives, the natives of Naboo, the Gungans. She figured she might be able to help pull him out of his clumsiness, giving him a little more maturity and teaching him about, politics and just senator type work, She figured, give him more responsibility. Maybe he can mature a little more out of that clumsiness. And if you notice in Attack of the Clones, he kind of does. He is a little better than he was in the Phantom Menace. In Phantom Menace, he just was young and stupid. Jar But after 10 years of working with Jar Jar, she, when she had to go on the run, the only other person she had to rely on to current in Coruscant that could fill in as a substitute for her voice to the Senate chamber was Jar Jar. This was the first time she was relying on him to help her out. And with 10 years of her having kind of worked with him, she was under the belief that he could handle it. You know, he had 10 years to grow, 10 years to mature, 10 years to learn politics, 10 years to understand what she would do. And when people in the Senate chamber, they know about Padme Amidala. They know that the people in Naboo trusted her. They know how faithful she was to the Republic, and her voice was highly trusted within the Republic by many who were all for the Republic concept, or the democracy of the Republic. Palpatine, Chancellor Palpatine, he is also from Naboo. He knows about the primitive mentality of the Gungans. He also knows how those primitive Gungans, what they believe about Jar Jar being clumsy and worthless. And he took advantage of Jar Jar being in his office by himself without Padme, having a discussion with his friends as they were discussing about the prospect of a clone army, having a discussion with his friends as they were discussing about the prospect of a clone army, the prospect of a clone war. How would we see this war through? The elections are coming up. That means, you know, he's already served his 2 terms. He was supposed to be giving his term up, but since he was there in office, knows what was going on, it would make more logical sense in his mind, in Palpatine's mind, that he stay in office to see the war through. And this is actually something that is not uncommon even in American history, even, to be honest. This is actually something that has been seen in our real world. But that aside, we also know what Palpatine's agenda is. Of all his deception and corruption, all his scheming, the one attribute he shares with light side Jedi Force users is patience. He has schemed for years with an abundance of patience to make sure everything fell in place before he revealed himself as the Sith and overturned everyone into the Empire. But he needed time for everything to fall in place. While they're having a discussion in his office with Jar Jar by himself, without his coach Padme, without Padme there to coach him on what she would do, he's having a discussion about, well, who would ever elect a radical amendment that I would stay in office? And Jar Jar, you can see it in his face. He's confused. He's pondering. He's thinking, what would Padme do? What would Padme think? Would Padme go for this? Palpatine took advantage of Jar Jar. And the next scene over in the Senate chamber, with all the people in the Senate chamber listening to Jar Jar, when they didn't know who Jar Jar was very well. They knew he was from Naboo. He knew he represented Naboo. He knew he substituted as voice for Padme. And when he spoke, it was as if Padme was speaking. And everyone in the Senate chamber took it that way. That is the Jar Jar hate. The hate is that Jar Jar had the opportunity to grow and show how much he had learned from Padme, and he fell manipulated for a corrupt man's trick, and put a dangerous man into long-term power, eventually becoming the Emperor. Anyways, we're going to go up the steps and remove the Gungan wall with the Force, make a bridge out of it. We are going to have to rely on Jar Jar to high jump these tall ledges. Use your Jedis to fight the battle droids, because Jar Jar will just sit there and be a target board. He will not fight back. He does not retaliate in this game. Our Jedis will have to use the Force for the lever. Our Jedis will also have to be who keeps Jar Jar alive from the battle droids. We're going to keep running Jar Jar along for all the high jumps. He is a high jump character. So if you're playing on the tablet or the phone and you come to those spots that are green, you're greenlit to jump. Swipe over and jump. But if it's white, you need a high jumper. You use the Force to move the Lego pieces of that wall over to make a small little ledge to jump across and leave the placing. We're going to come into this new placing, remove the Lego bricks from under this log, and we're going to come up and destroy the swamp full of battle droids. There is a power-up orb behind the trees. Pretty much only good for these last 3 battle droids, depending on the order you go about it. Eventually, when we get down in this last swamp, we're gonna need Jar Jar for the high jump and have him walk the ledge to the loose stone ledge. Have him lower it, and we are gonna run into the waters, just straight ahead. Free play and challenge mode are unlocked. Jar Jar is an unlocked character. In the store is Captain Typos and Boss Nass. We got some money, and we have received a gold Lego stud. We will continue, or a gold Lego brick. We will continue the story.